Welcome to Enlightenment of Change on webtalkradio.net. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. Now, I hope as you listen to the different shows that, number one, you feel my passion, because I'm pretty passionate about the show, but I'm really passionate about helping you, my listeners, change your perspective so you can start to clearly see what your successful future might potentially look like. Now, by incorporating all the little changes that myself and my guests share on the show, you'll actually be able to create those huge impacts with building better client relationships if you're in business, or scaling your business if you're a business owner, and ultimately growing your income, which, you know what, we all need more money, right? And the most important component, I think, of the show is I hope I help you create the life that you desire. So thank you again, always, for joining my guest and I weekly. So my quote today is by Bob Kerrey, and he says, "Unexpected kindness is the most powerful, least costly, and most understated agent of human change." Now, the second we post, and the second one, I have another, I'm reading my notes saying, what did I say? But I have a second that was on Pintrist, and I just thought it was so good I had to share it with you guys. And it says, "Kindness is free. Sprinkle that stuff everywhere." And I just thought that was a fun one. So I hope you enjoyed my two quotes. So here's my questions for you. Do you feel lately like humans seem to get angrier every day? And do you listen to the news and think, wow, is there any good news happening out there? It feels like respect and kindness and caring for others is almost a thing of the past. And why is that? And do you think that we have the power to change that whole narrative or perspective? Well, today my guest, she says yes. Her name is Ophelia Ramirez, and Ophelia is currently retired, but working hard on her passion project, and this is how I met her: Act as One, Unity Through Love and Respect. Now, during her work career, Ophelia was an advertising manager, certified personal and business coach, Reiki Master, and volunteer with the Waterbearers with TIP, Trauma Intervention Program, and with the Navajo Water Project. So please help me welcome my most delightful, amazing, kind Ophelia Ramirez to the show. So Ophelia, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this conversation, Ophelia, because I think, obviously with COVID recent, all kind of taking place around the world. But even before COVID, I felt like we as humans were losing that essence of kindness and respect and care. And Ophelia, actually, a friend of mine, sent me a Facebook post, Ophelia, that you had, that was Act as One, the website, and you had a beautiful note about sharing kindness. And she said, I just wanted to sprinkle some cheer in your day. That's why I chose that quote. And after I looked, within seconds, Ophelia, I sent you an email saying, wait a minute, I think you need to come on the show. I think we need to sprinkle a little bit of good cheer to all the listeners, especially with everything going on in the world right now with that COVID-19. So that's how I actually found you. It was by happenstance,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Meant to be.
Meant to be. I agree. So talk to us, tell my listeners, why did you start Act as One? What was the catalyst?
It's my baby. I started Act as One because, I'll go back a little bit. My husband and I are very fortunate to have done a fair amount of traveling. And in our travels, I kept seeing that wherever we were, whether it was a first world country, whether it was a third world country, we all have the same needs. We all have the same desires. And, it seems we always hear that our differences are never as great as our things that bring us together, our basic wants and needs.
Sure.
And the more I traveled and the more I saw that, it felt to me that I was really called to do something about that. And I didn't know what at first. But then what I decided to do was to start an online community, encouraging people to be their best selves, encouraging people to realize that the only way I believe that we will survive as a species, as humanity, is to come together. And I know that seems like a bit of a platitude. People say that all the time. But I want to encourage people to be soft and reasonable with each other, regardless of our differences. We're all in this together. We only have one world. We're all on this blue planet with each other, this little planet whirling through space. And we've all seen those photos that the astronauts have shared with us when we see the world from space, and we're so small, and there's all this, the universe is all around us. Maybe we don't matter that much. I don't know. But what I do know is that I want my life to be one for the greater good, and I want to encourage others to do the same.
Yeah, and your background is quite interesting. Before we started recording, you shared with me, right, that your heritage is Native American, right, and
Mexican.
So that I wonder if that Native American piece of you, which was all, my understanding, you get through education, you learn about the American Indians and everything, that they really were one with the earth, and they respected the earth, and they honored and worshiped the earth, and used the earth to heal. So I wonder if that, as you were traveling and seeing the similarities, I wonder if that came through. I don't know. What do you think? Did you ever feel like a calling from deep within?
Well, that's very interesting that you would go there, Connie, because I'm highly identified with both of my cultures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really the indigenous people. Mostly, I wouldn't say all, because, global statements never work. General statements never work.
Sure.
But a good part of indigenous people around the world have a relationship with the earth that sometimes, or oftentimes, Westerners in first world countries don't have. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the first ones that just came to me as I'm talking is that in the Western world, it's covered with cement. It's covered with big buildings. There's designated parks for sure in most cities. But it's a specific area. It's not globally within that specific city or community. And a lot of the third world countries and second world countries don't have that. They're in touch literally with the earth.
Sure.
And, we've read studies how if we walk barefoot on the earth, we can feel the electromagnetic field.
Absolutely.
I know for myself, when I'm feeling depressed or if I'm upset or anything, I take my shoes off and I go outside and walk on the earth. Mm-hmm. And it feels good. It brings me back down. So there is something about living closer to the earth where you have a greater, a different appreciation for all that the earth can give us.
Absolutely. And it's funny, I'm in New Jersey, and we live literally right near the Jersey Shore. And I'm blessed enough to have a shore house, and we call it the Shore House in New Jersey. And when we go to the beach, my house, I have water behind it. It's part of the bay. And then you go over like a little causeway, a little bridge, and we're on the beach. So it's a couple of miles. But as soon as I walk on the beach and my feet literally go on the sand, because you're barefoot, to me, my energy immediately shifts. It happens if I put my feet in the grass as well. You take you wheel your feet in the grass, which feels nice. But for me, I think I was a mermaid in a previous life. The sands, it immediately, I can feel the shift of energy in my body, and it just feels so good. So I always say the beach is my nirvana, because everything seems right when I'm at the beach. All worries seem to diminish a little bit, and I can breathe a little bit easier. So I totally agree that we need to be more with nature. Now I want to go back to your I'm going to say your movement, right? But it's what is the goal of Act as One for you when you sit back and think about it? What is your ultimate goal with that?
It changes. I can think about what it was when I first started a few years ago, and it's kind of a moving target.
Sure.
So I can't say that my goal is 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. What I will say is that however this comes about, and I'm one to make plans and move in that direction, but I believe that the universe sometimes has different ideas for me, and what I thought I was doing, I realize I need to go here. So I'm kind of fluid with that. But what I do, if I have a goal, it's this. We collectively need to be kind to each other, as you started out this broadcast. And kindness goes a long way. Jane Goodall said, how did her quote go? She said, we all make a difference. We just want to decide what difference we want to make.
It's true.
And that's the crux of it all. What difference do we want to make? I get a lot of comments on my website, people just thanking me for bringing this up because they've been thinking about it, or saying, I've been feeling down. Is it okay if I post this? And my feeling is I want my website to be a place where people can come, be themselves, and get encouragement. Now, that doesn't mean we all have to agree. That doesn't mean that I have to agree with everything that people post on my website. As long as they're respectful, your feelings are your feelings.
Absolutely.
And I want to respect that so that people feel heard. Because when people are heard, they're happier. They're probably a little more grounded. And I believe that any difference we can make has a ripple effect.
Agree.
So I want to make the ripple that I can make, and then I'll allow the universe to continue those ripples out.
And what's interesting about the ripples? I 100% agree with that. And I 100% agree that the universe, we're on a path, and all of a sudden something comes into our line of vision or thought, we learn something, we read something, whatever it is. And we're like, oh gosh, that's where I need to shift or pivot or whatever it is. But I believe, so I definitely believe in the universe. I also believe in the ripple effect. And examples are, and I'm sure you hear this all the time. Oh my goodness, my example today, right? A friend sent me something from you. Yeah. I read it. I was moved and touched. And I thought, wow, this is the kind of person I want on the show. So we could talk about change from that perspective of, respect and kindness, right? It's so simple, yet we get caught up, especially now. People are losing jobs. People are losing loved ones. Fear has taken over. And I think our level of compassion and kindness for others has to grow. But I think we have to have compassion and love for ourselves. And I think we forget because we get caught up in life. So again, why did I immediately, I think it was still on my phone. I sent you an email. There was a link to your email, and I said, I think you need to be on my show. And you were like, who are you? And what do you want me to do, crazy lady? And then you investigated me, and then was a beautiful response back saying I would be honored and I would love to come on the show. How do you encourage, and one more thing I want to say about your website, where you feel you have a feeling is never wrong. It's how you feel. It's not right or wrong. It just is. But I think what you're describing is your website creates that safe place for where, if people are lonely or alone and they don't know where to go for advice or for counsel or whatever, that your website is that safe place when all is lost, right? For someone, you're not lost, right? Here, let me help ground you. And I see that as a piece of your, again, my Connie Whitman's perception, but that's how I see your website as well. And like I said, it immediately touched me. So talking about all of this ripple effect, how can people become part of, and I think it's a movement as well, Ophelia. So how can people become part of this movement and in simple terms, right? We don't have to do anything grandiose per se.
It doesn't have to be grandiose at all. Now, some people will do grandiose things, but most of us won't. And that's okay. The fact is, or the important thing is to do something. Mm-hmm. Now, if I would encourage people to come to my website and leave comments, because what's happening now is that I'll give you an example. I had one woman who commented on one of my posts, and she was having a hard time for various reasons. And before I could respond to her, other people who had come to the post were responding to her. This is what I want. I want people to encourage each other. I want to create a community of people encouraging each other. The encouragement doesn't have to come from me. The words of wisdom don't have to come from me, because we all have words of wisdom. And so I want to create a community that is safe, that is comfortable, so that people can come as you are and they can be encouraged to be their better selves. They can be encouraged to be soft and reasonable with each other. They can be encouraged to then, with that strength that they get, perhaps that day they will show a kindness to somebody else. And that's how the ripple starts. And, sure. I don't know if you're at all familiar with the tipping point.
Tell me more.
There's a book called The Tipping Point, and they give various examples of movements that have gone on through the earth that started small, but when enough people caught onto it, it flipped over to the other side. Then everybody was doing it.
Sure.
Now, we know this is true, like when a video goes viral or some meme
sure.
or something goes viral. As soon as the tipping point is met and enough people are on board with that, then change happens. And that's what I want to do with Act as One. I want to move the tipping point over so that change happens on a global scale. And
yeah.
That might sound somewhat grandiose, but you know what? Every movement starts with a few people.
Agree. And Ophelia, to be honest with you, with everything that's going on with the COVID, doesn't matter what race, nationality, socioeconomic, none of that matters. We are all affected. We are all one. Nobody was overlooked, right? Or nobody was granted that you're not going to be affected. We're all affected. So we truly are act as one. How did you come up with Act as One? Like, what was there an inspiration? Did it hit you, or you just thought, that makes sense, Act as One?
My husband and I were on a road trip. And I was telling him what I wanted to do, and I wanted to start a website and hopefully an online community for this. And we just brainstormed. It took us about 4 or 5 hours. We had all kinds of names, and it didn't quite, quite click. And I don't know, one of us, and it's been so long ago now, I don't remember, we came up with Act as One. And as soon as one of us said it, we looked at each other and we thought, that's it.
That's it.
Act as One. And what I like about it is that it's not only a title, but it's movement. It's an encouragement to do something. So there's a verb in there, act. And it brings together, it's my spirituality, my philosophy,
sure.
that we're all related. We are all brothers and sisters. At some point, Connie, you and I are sisters.
Absolutely. Agree 100%.
Yeah. And so if we look at each other as family, if we look at each other as one, we're not going to hurt each other, right? I mean,
right.
I'm not going to hurt you, Connie, because if I think that you're and believe that you're my sister, I'm never going to do anything to
Absolutely.
If we believe we're one with the earth, we're part of the trees,
Absolutely.
part of the rocks, part of the water, part of everything. We're not going to do anything to hurt that, because in hurting that, we're hurting us.
Absolutely.
So
well,
that's
it was
the mentality, that's the movement, that's the and whatever form it keeps evolving into, as long as the premise is still there, I'm doing it.
I love it. And it was funny because act as one, I thought, yeah, act as one. Like it's so funny. That's why I had to ask that question. It took you 4 hours to get there. And then as soon as you put the right words together, you looked at each other like, you know, that commercial, you hit your head. I should have had a V8.
Exactly. Yeah. What was it? I should have had a V8. That's what
right. Should have had a V8. You and your husband looked at each other like, well, that took us a long time, when it's so obvious. But yes, it's obvious because the right words came together. So when I saw it, act as one, I was like, yes, we have to act as one. There was so much clarity in really 3 words, right? Act as one. It's 3 simple words that have a huge impact. Yeah, I loved it.
Too, even if nobody goes to the website, if they just hear about it, those words might spur something in
Totally.
them.
Totally. Yeah. It's just, I just had to ask because sometimes people, you know, I had a vision or something, but you and your husband
right.
you know, going back and forth. And then that moment I could just see it. You're driving and you're like, oh, that's it. Like the 2 of you at the same time.
Like the light bulb went off.
In between. Yeah, I love it. I just love it. All right. So in my introduction, I talked about you belonging to the Waterbearers Club, right? What I have to ask, what is that? Waterbearers? What are they? What is it? Is it a foundation? Like, what is it?
I'm with a group of women called the Waterbearers. They're about 5 years old. We're relatively new. And our mission is to bring clean water to people who don't have it.
Oh.
So what we do is we raise money. It's a nonprofit. We raise money and purchase filters, and then take the filters to places that do not have access to clean water. Now, one filter is $50, and it is, this is crazy, it is enough for 100 people for up to 10 years.
Are you kidding?
For one filter, that's $50. It is an amazing filter. We have been, I've been with the Waterbearers to Mexico, to Nicaragua, to Liberia, and we go on humanitarian trips. We all pay our own way, because 100% of money that we raise is used to purchase and deliver those filters.
That's awesome.
And so it's a group of women that's near and dear to my heart.
Are you all over? Are you from all over? Or are you all from the United States? This group?
We're from all over.
Oh, nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we are global. So I'm involved with that. That's something that I do. I'm also involved with another water project with a company called Dig Deep. They are also a nonprofit, and they have an arm of their organization called the Navajo Water Project. And I am part Navajo. And so that is very near and dear to me because, oh my goodness, 40% of Navajo Nation does not have clean running water. And so Dig Deep and the Navajo Water Project, they raise money. Again, it's all non-profit, and they dig and bring running water to the Navajo Nation.
Do me a favor when we're done. Please send me the links to that, because I know a lot of people, might have. Yeah, I want to put it on the Web Talk Radio, my Enlightenment of Change website, because there might be a lot of people that everything we're talking about, like the Waterbearers, from a global perspective, might say $50 for a filter. I could donate $5 or $10 or whatever it is. It all helps, of course. A dollar makes an impact. When 50 people come together and offer $1, you have a filter for 100 people. So I definitely want to post that, and I also think the Navajo Water, I would like to post that as well, because some people might have a similar heritage to you, or have a affinity towards the Navajo nation and Navajo heritage, and they might feel inclined to share. I love sharing things like that. That again, this act as one kind of is still the umbrella of our conversation.
Yeah,
but here's another way for people who maybe don't have the time but want to do something philanthropic and can donate $5 or $10 or $100, right? Depending on every little bit helps. So I would love to post those links if people would like to donate.
That to you.
That would be wonderful.
I may say one other thing.
Sure.
About that. Dig Deep has the Navajo Water Project arm. However, Dig Deep is concerned to bring clean running water to all tribes locally in the U.S.
Okay.
The Waterbearers is global. Dig Deep is U.S. So, nice. Some people want one or the other.
Yeah, again, whatever their preference is, but I meet people so frequently, Ophelia, and they want to do something, and oftentimes because our own resources, our own mental resources, physical resources, our families, the demands we have, we can't even think clearly to say, this is where I want to give back. You see the typical charities, but these were two that I had never heard about, and I thought, wow, that's kind of a nice thing to do. I personally would like to donate to both. I'm happy to donate to both. Yeah, I feel like, again, we're act as one, right? We're in this together, but water, I go and I turn my faucet on and I have clean water. So that's not the case everywhere. And I think
to walk 5 miles to get our water.
Yeah. No. Think about it. Yeah. We're blessed.
And some of the places I've been, like in like Liberia, their water source, when we went there a couple years ago, was a stagnant black pool of water. And they take that and they boil it. Excuse me. They take that and boil it and then filter it with a t-shirt or some cloth. So it's taking all the big particles out, but it's not taking out what's making them sick.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing to be in the company of somebody. I get choked up on this one.
Oh, of course.
To see somebody drink clean water for the first time.
You're making me cry.
Somebody drink water, clean water for the first time. And yet we have water, we buy water and, well, not we, I don't, but people buy water in plastic bottles and throw it away and have no idea that so many women and men struggle, children struggle just to have clean water. And what a basic thing that is.
We take it for granted, just like we take so many things for granted. So that's why, again, as I was reading, you sent me your bio and I thought, I want to dig deeper with these two charities because, water, we take it, like I said, I could flush my toilet. I could wash my clothes in the washing machine. I could go and turn my faucet and get a nice clean glass of water, throw some ice cubes in that sucker, and I'm good to go.
Exactly.
And everybody doesn't have that. So I did want to talk about that. We're out of time, but I have one more question for you. Everybody listening, can you give, in like 2 minutes or less, give them a tip or an action step that they can take to spread the idea, even if they don't talk about act as one, but spread that idea of acting as one. Is there a little tip you can give that's simple, that they could do as soon as they end up listening to the show? They can walk out and do something.
You know what's a really simple thing? Go out and smile at somebody. You know, people pass each other up and don't even smile, don't even make eye contact, don't even say hello. Respect the other person by at least meeting their eyes and smiling. So simple, and who knows, maybe that person really needs a smile that day.
Absolutely.
You know, I was walking down the street in Oakland a couple years ago, having a really hard time with something that was going on. And this man that I didn't know, he looked like he could have been homeless, came right up to me. And he said, I don't know what's going on with you, but I want you to know that you're beautiful and you're loved.
Oh, that was so kind.
A stranger. And it was just what I needed. I ended up hugging him and crying, and we sat down and we talked.
That's so nice, right? And you made a new friend, right? And you probably made him feel good. It's funny that you said that. Again, I'm from New Jersey, and depending on where you are in New Jersey, we're very close. Like, there's a ferry ride to Manhattan. It's a 40-minute ride. So we have a lot of people who work in Manhattan locally as well. And it's a hustle bustle and a very, because New York, don't make eye contact. Right. You know, all of that we're taught. And my older son, 5 years ago, he went to a school in Pennsylvania. It's Westchester University. It's beautiful there. And the first week, I said, you have to call me just once a week. I'm not going to be the overprotective mom, but I do want to hear your voice. And he called me the first week and he said, Ma, everybody's nice here. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm telling you, I'm walking to class. And he goes, it's not even just students, because it's in a, it's not just a college town. There's other residential there that, right. People live there. And he said, somebody's walking their dog, or an elderly man is taking his walk for the day, and they smile, good morning, how are you? And he said, we don't get that in New Jersey. And I laughed, and it was so obvious to my son, that my husband and I, we giggled, and we said, wow, you forget, because we get so insulated, again, being in the tri-state area, that you forget what a smile and a good morning can do for you.
It means a lot.
So I thought that was so cute with my son. It was like this revelation for him. It's just interesting. So a smile. Everybody could go and smile. So guys, if you are interested in learning more, I'm going to give you Ophelia's website for Act as One. Of course, don't worry. I will post it on the Web Talk Radio website for Enlightenment of Change. And I'm also going to post those two charities that Ophelia and I spoke about as well. If you feel compelled to share, that would be just a wonderful thing. So I will post all of that. Sure, of course.
Charities. I want people to know that both of these charities use 100% of donations for their mission. No, in the Waterbearers, nobody gets paid.
Nice.
It's all 100%.
That's wonderful.
They have other funds from other people from their board that give them money for their salaries. But money that is donated for water, it's for water and nothing else.
It's wonderful. Again, more charitable organizations, right? If only we could be set up that way. That's fabulous. So I will post that as well. I want to give you, just in case you're curious, Ophelia's website, Act as One. Of course, it's www. And then it's ACT, A-C-T, hyphen, as, A-S, hyphen, one, O-N-E, and it's a .org, not a .com. Again, I will post that for you guys if you're interested in finding out more. Also, please go to my website, whitmanassoc.com/CSA for communication style assessment. I am offering a free assessment. Takes you maybe 5 minutes to take. It gives you a real nice short report about your superpowers, your communication superpowers, and some of your blind spots. And my goal, like Ophelia, to act as one, yes, which I love, sharing kindness, but I want everybody to become better communicators so that we truly understand and listen to each other and hear what we're really trying to say and articulate. So go to whitmanassociates.com/CSA. It's free. So another free resource here for you guys to help you navigate your world of change and whatever that is for you. Ophelia, thank you so much for being on, for sharing the wonderful charities, but for sharing this movement that I think is needed. I also think us humans, we're ready for it. I think we need something, that we could kind of bite into and take information from. And I just love that you're providing this safe place for people to be respectful. I love how you share that, but for them to be vulnerable and not be condemned or attacked, but actually, kind of bolstered up and supported. So thank you so much for creating this. And thank you to you and your husband for brainstorming and coming up with such a great name.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Same to you. Don't go yet. So you guys, I hope that you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together that change, whatever that means for you, is easier to navigate than you think. And I hope my guests and myself provide resource tools, ideas, platforms for you to navigate that change that you're looking for. We have one shot, guys. Let's make it great. And let's try to go out there and make it great for all, right? We should be supporting each other. You've been listening to Enlightenment of Change with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.net. Thank you all. And I do wish you all a wonderful, happy, safe, thriving week. And do something nice for someone, right? It's easier than you think. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Take care.